He is the one. Welcome back to the Tidarium Hangar. This is Mike coming at you with the Haslab Unicron update number 3. Got a lot to talk about, and I've got to say that if you haven't seen the video, go check it out. This how this thing's transformed. It actually doesn't look that hard, to tell you the truth. It looks pretty cool. It looks pretty good, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. But before we get into all that, all these updates I really haven't talked about numbers very much, so I really do want to start with talking about some numbers. And so we're currently at a little under 2,300 backers for a target of 8,000. And I want to say that we've even got Star Wars sites talking about this and tracking this. And so over at Bantha Skull, they showed banthaskull.com is a Star Wars site, and they showed where the barge was this deep into it. The barge actually had more backers at this point in time than Unicron did, and that only had a 5,000 gold. Now we've got 8,000 gold, and we have less this deep into it. And I'm going to tell you, I'm not even worried about it. I'm not worried. It's going to back. So it's going to back. And I'm here today to answer a lot of questions. There's not a lot of actual information other than the way the transformation went. So I'm gonna talk about that whole transformation bit closer to the end. But I want to get with all of the questions from the other two updates and start addressing those. So the first question that I get a lot of is, will it get back? And it's more of a statement that, looks like this thing's not getting back. Looks like it's over. It's all over. Well, there's a lot of things to look at here. And then there have been charts and graphs and all this stuff. And people doing comparisons to the barge, which is actually the best thing to compare it to, by the way. And it looks like it's falling behind the barge's pace and all that stuff. Now, I want to say that Hasbro and Haslab aren't just sitting on their hands here. They're actually getting out there. They're actually doing stuff to get this thing funded. And I'm surprised we haven't seen like a something thrown in to make it, to sweeten the pot and to sweeten the deal. And it's actually kind of good that we're a little bit behind, because maybe they've got 2 or 3 incentives that they're going to throw in, and looking like we're this far behind, let's go ahead and throw every incentive we plan, because they don't want to give you extra stuff. They do it so they can fund the project. So with that, I'm going to say that they're probably going to start announcing that soon, probably tomorrow after I put the video up. But let me tell you why I'm certain it's going to back. The number one thing is that we have 7 partners in on this with Haslab that to help with funding this. 7 partners, 7 more places you could order this through other than Haslab. So we have BBTS, TF Source, Chosen Prime, Robot Kingdom, Takara Tomy Mall, Taobao. And I did hear about one more, and I just didn't write it down. But there are so many more avenues for you to get this. Plus, with the barge, there was only 2, I think, that said, okay, we're going to be on board, but we're only going to have so many. And all of these, I don't think any of these have a limit. It's like as many as you want to do through them. And the other big thing is that they're not going to submit their orders or submit these backers until the end. So the last few days, we're going to see that bump. And it's going to be a huge bump and a huge jump. And so I really don't understand the people's mentality, well, I'm not even going to sign up for it and get ready for it until it's backed. Well, it doesn't make any sense, because it probably won't hit the backing until the last 3 days. And it'll jump and smash right through that 8,000 to 10,000. And if you don't get it in by the 31st, the very last day, the last minute of this month, and you know what time zone is that based on too? So anyway, you got to get it in by 31st or you're not going to have it. Now, all of these partners and all of this is just so many more avenues to achieve this, ways to get it. So anyone that's overseas, international, you can order it through one of these means. But here's the thing, it is going to cost more. Hasbro doesn't want to lose money. They want to make money on this. And if they open it up straight to international, there's going to be a challenge for shipping. There's going to be a challenge For currency exchanges, there's going to be a lot of challenges they just don't want to mess with, and the other companies are taking on that, and that's why there's a premium getting paid. And most of them are requiring like a $155 deposit down that you would lose if you don't go through with it in the end. But you know what? It's a way to fund this. Let's say you don't have $650 right now. So that's the next question. Price. I don't have that. Well, $627 after tax. I don't have that right now. So if you don't, put your $155 down and then start saving, $50 a month over the next 15 months till it comes out, and you've got it covered, right? Or $40 a month, or 38. I mean, do the math on however you want to do it. But the thing is, you're also gonna have to pay inflated shipping if you're overseas. But if you're in the U.S., you can still place the order and use it as kind of like you're paying more, but you're paying later. Anytime you finance anything, you're paying more. And I mean, like with a car, you're paying twice as much if you finance it. With a house, the same thing. A 30-year mortgage, you're basically paying for the house twice. Same exact thing here. If you want to go ahead and jump on this and do that, that's another avenue. But I'm not worried about whether or not it funds. It will. The other thing about this, and this has been real questionable, and a lot of people have discussed this goal of 8,000. So I've had a lot of people talking to, saying that when I presented my opinion, I present my opinion as fact, and I first off apologize for that if it comes across that way. So this is my opinion and my thoughts on why it is 8,000. It's because the barge hit 8,000, and that's my belief. I really do think that's why they're targeting the 8,000 mark, is because the barge hit it. Past performance is sometimes indicative of future results, but it's also a great measurement, a measuring stick, and they did put more time into development of this. I mean, it was one of those things that they wanted to actually announce this, and they didn't because they needed more time to develop it, and right now they feel like they finally got it to where it needs to be, so I'm okay with that. I'm perfectly fine with that, so I can live with it. Now, I still think they're looking at the barge numbers. I really do. I mean, that's the other thing. Well, what about the Cookie Monster numbers? Well, nobody talking. The Cookie Monster's not doing anything. I think the Cookie Monster will be a sacrificial lamb, though. And here's why. If it gets 500 and there's no excitement to get it up to even 1,000, why would they bother, right? But this thing here, if it gets to 7,000 or whatever, this might be a conspiracy theory. This is all conjecture. But you know what? We backed 8810 barges. 8,810 barges were backed. And then in an interview at Toy Fair earlier this year, we asked how many barges were made in total, and they said just under 10,000. So how do you decide to go from 8810 and produce 10,000? Well, we know they made extras for parts or broken ones or messed up in shipping and all that stuff. They had to get for themselves some sort of an insurance policy, because this is a one-time production run and one and done. But the other thing is that this thing, the Unicron now, like, how many are they gonna just produce in excess of the Unicron? Thinking they're not even thinking 8,000. I'm thinking they're planning on 10,000, because they did almost 10,000 of the barge, but they've set this goal higher. I truly think we're gonna see 10,000. Next up, I keep hearing people say, "Yeah, we're gonna wait for it to go for $250 at Walmart or Target or whatever." But here's the thing, and I know I'm double dipping on it. I discussed this in the last one. I've discussed a couple of these things in the last one, but I feel like there's so many questions that needs to be clarified. There's no scenario where Haslab will, or Hasbro will do another production run after this. They will. I guarantee you they're going to produce more than what's back. Probably at least 1,000, if not 2,000, more than what's back. That's a guarantee, and then they'll sell them for whatever, and who knows, I guarantee you they're going to make more than what's back. Because they did it with the barge, they're going to do it with this, and it's in the fine print that they can reissue it. But they won't do another production run after this first production run. And here is why. If they do another production run, Haslab's dead, in water, forever. Every other project is Cookie Monster project. End of story. And we won't get all of these great things that we're looking for, like a Death Star, or a G.I. Joe flag, Star Wars Death Star, or maybe an Ark, or something along those lines for Transformers fans, or what, we're hearing a lot of great things that could be made into Haslab, but none of those projects will ever get funded if they ever reissue it or do another production run. Next up, people don't understand the limit of 5. There's no limit of 5. The limit of 5 per order, per transaction. But if you wanted to do 10 orders of 5, you can order 50. There's nothing stopping you. You just have to place another one, another one, another one, another one. I placed multiple orders with my barges. I didn't just place, all of them on one. I placed multiple orders because I wasn't sure if I could swing, a couple more. And with this one, I just, ordered my 2 Unicrons. But I do want to say that there's no limit. And I don't know why people don't understand that, but maybe, this is still new to people. Like, not everybody lived through the barge, so I guess I see why people don't understand that. So I touched on some discussion of media, and but I think that the lack of media is just a sign of their confidence. I think that if they were really worried about it, they've already sunk so much money, it's a big deal, they probably would be trying to get a little bit more media behind it. And, the closest thing we get is to this transformation video, which just popped up recently, and that is really cool. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the dude in the tux. We'll be talking about that here in a second. And it looks like Zeta's not giving us anything else lately since the little snap fingers, and I don't think that it's actually going to be that big. It's starting to look like, based on the fingers, based on the face, based on some of these prototypes, which we don't know, but I don't know if it's going to be that big. Now, there's rumors floating around, and there's none of this, the rumors have been confirmed by anything official, but that it's going to be about half the size as Haslab, and not 40 inches, so we don't really know. I truthfully look at Zeta as kind of a non-factor in this situation, and if you're looking at it and holding your breath on the Zeta and saying, I'll pass on this, you're probably going to miss out. Also, there have been a lot of great points brought up lately about price. Now, I've had one point saying that, hey, people are buying $1,000 cell phones, that 3 years from now they're going to have a different $1,000 cell phone. But yet, this is $575 or 6 something after tax that could be on your shelf as a display and maybe even handed down to other generation, and is a one-time shot. So price-wise, not that bad. So let's get into talking about some pictures from this video that was released. And first thing I want to say, dude in a tuxedo transforming a transformer. Holy cow, that is cool. When I saw that, when I first saw it, I said, am I looking at that right? And then I said, wow, that is cool. So this next picture I want to show you is, if you look where all these pieces seem to be held on by one centralized joint piece. That's just my speculation by looking at this picture, and it looks like there is a possibility of removing that at that joint. I don't know 100%. I'm not guaranteeing this. I'm just speculating, but wouldn't it look cooler if we could slide those pieces off? They did not advertise this as being kind of a parts former. It's an all-in-one, but I think it looks really good. Like there's the chances for getting to pull that off look good, but I don't know if once it's off, that bare leg would look good, would present well. Still too soon to tell, but I'm kind of excited about that point. I'm also wondering, for display purposes only, how much this whole giant backpack could pop off. They're not selling that as a selling point because they don't want people to think it's a parts former. They don't want people to think you're literally just putting the shell around it. But in the end, some people might want that display option and that ability to make it look super awesome, super good without all the kibble. And that's been something that we've discussed a lot. If that's possible, it would be great. Next, I want to say, the way the video is presented, it's really hard to tell, like, step by step, how many steps, how long it takes, but it doesn't look overly complex. It looks moderately complex. It doesn't look overly complex, but, we'll have to have it in hand so I can tell you for sure, but it looks like an interesting transformation. I do love how the arms will open out like the movie. Really, I love the way they did the whole video, to tell you the truth. I thought it was cool. So anyway, what secrets does Haslab have in store for us in the future? What other things are going to be announced? What add-ins are they going to throw in there? Like, subscribe. Tiberium Hanger. Out.